Hey everyone, Barktany Barktano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Migos project, Culture 2.
The Migos? That's my favorite group. They do all my favorite raps.
Oh, you like the Migos so much? Name their names.
Well, you got Off Step, and you got Takeout, and you got Creepo. That's all of them.
That's what I thought. The Atlanta hip-hop trio is back, and they are quickly following up last year's Culture 1, the first Culture, which easily is one of my favorite trap records, period. One of the better Migos albums out there, because while in the past they have displayed a very idiosyncratic style, they have written some good hits, they've always emphasized quantity over quality. And Culture was a total change from that. Migos condensed their best characteristics down into a series of very catchy and well-written songs on a pretty trimmed track list that was relatively free of filler.
I do it for the culture.
So it's that brevity, it's that focus, it is that honing of Migos' songwriting craft that made Culture 1 so good. So when I heard them announce Culture 2, I was like, awesome, hype, so excited. I hope they just refine what they were doing on that record and just make it a little bit better, and it's just gonna be amazing, one of the best trap albums ever. But no, the chances of that dropped exponentially after the album was announced and it was made clear that Culture 2 was going to be an hour and 45 minutes in length. Migos are not capable of making an album that long that sounds good. It's just the truth. Vocally, lyrically, instrumentally, their music is not versatile enough, is not dynamic enough to make a track list that long entertaining. Of course, Culture 2 is just going to end up being a glorified mixtape, which it in fact is. So many of the songs on this record are wash, rinse, and repeat. You do not write and record this much material in this short of an amount of time since your last album without following a very clear and a very repetitive formula. Even the instrumentals on this thing are painfully formulaic. Some of the only tracks that really stood out to me instrumentally, Notice Me was definitely one. That instrumental was super mellow, super beautiful. The Made Men instrumental was pretty luxurious. I loved the glorious and very rich pianos all over that track. The laid back groove, it almost kind of felt like maybe a little bit of a throwback to the 90s. The Pharrell instrumental on here was insane, maybe the most unique in the bunch, and had a groove on it I was surprised that the Migos would even touch. Flooded is maybe the most skeletal and minimal track on the entire record. Of course, Motorsport is a total banger featuring Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. Walk It, Talk It stuck out quite a bit, but maybe only because of its really annoying refrains. Walk it and talk it and walk it and talk it, which is really kind of a lot of tracks on here. There are actually quite a few songs on here where the hooks, the choruses, are so obnoxious that I can't help but just they're just really annoying earworms that stick in my head for all the wrong reasons. The Bad Bitches Only chorus featuring 21 Savage was a relatively big high point for me on the album, but honestly, the features on here are one of the few things that actually break up the monotony of this record. Because again, there are numerous tracks on here: Superstars, Emoji a Chain, Too Much Jewelry, I would say Crown the Kings too. Many tracks on this thing. Basically Migos totally phoning it in with some of their most lackluster and uninteresting lyrics yet, along with a bunch of auto-tuned singing and ad-libs that you've already heard a million times before. It seems like they're doing as little as they can to advance their sound forward in any significant way, but also on top of it, water it down to the point where it's so easy to just bust out 24 tracks without really kind of thinking about it. Because you cannot tell me that these guys spent hours writing the hooks to Gang Gang or To Playa or that one line on Flooded about pulling up a pair of Huggies. Like a pair of Huggies. If you compare Culture 2 with the previous and very lengthy mixtapes that Migos have released in the past, it's pretty much on par with that. It's a slog to listen to. It is super tedious. Your best hopes of enjoying anything on this is to just instantaneously delete anything that you find to be even vaguely boring and just listen to the tracks that you actually like. Because I actually think there's maybe a decent album somewhere in the 24 tracks of this thing, but Migos didn't really take the time to cut cut it out of the track list. They just kind of actually left the cutting room floor on the album itself. Culture 2 is just a mixtape, and they're treating it like an album. It's just really the trio stream trolling, just throwing extra tracks onto an album because they know at the end of the day, it'll probably get them more streams, which honestly, I'm not really looking forward to everybody and anybody following this business model in 2018 and 2019 and 2020 and maybe even beyond, because it's going to make listening to albums, it's going to make listening to projects really annoying. Because even when you do have a high point on this project, its significance is really just kind of overshadowed by the mediocrity and the pretty much samey vibe that you're getting from nearly every track that surrounds it. Yeah, I'm pretty much feeling a decent strong 4 on this thing. There's not really a whole lot to say about it. It's Migos as you've already heard them, Xeroxed, copied and pasted again and again and again until they basically make over 90 minutes of material. Culture 2 actually says a lot less about the culture that Migos and the music they're making exists within, and really more about a business model that they're trying to take advantage of. Transition. Have you given Culture 2 a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe, and please don't cry. Just leave a thoughtful comment in the comments if you're feeling thoughtful and unhappy. You can also click on the link to subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. Anthony Fantano forever.